The Sunlit Man is your typical story of an outsider showing up in a town. He's being chased by people, so he's got to get out of there. But this town is also being terrorized by another group, and they find out early on that there's something special about this guy. He just might be able to help them with this other group. In fact, there's a place they need to go, and once they get to this place, all their troubles will be solved. And when he learns of what this place is, he thinks, hey, you know what? That's where I need to go. So he thinks to himself, yeah, I'll help you get to this place, but not because of the reasons you want. In fact, I know that when we get there, you're going to be screwed, but it's going to have what I want, so I'm going to get there, take what I need, and see ya. It's that typical tale. We've read it, we've seen it. What makes this different, obviously, is the location. They are on a crazy planet, smaller than Earth, and the sun is super intense. So intense that even if you stick your hand out into the sunlight, poof, it's going to be vaporized. Nothing can survive the sun's light, the sun's heat. That's why in this world there are no buildings. The trees, the mountains even reform every single day, because when the sun comes along, they just explode with magma, boil over, melt down. It's like a volcano when it bubbles over and then cools, and then the landscape is totally changed. That's what this planet is. So the people, everyone on this planet, are constantly trying to outrun the sun. And to do this, they have like floating ships, kind of like spaceships, but they only float like what, 40, 50 feet above the earth, and they're just kind of constantly go around outrunning the sun. But the ships, they can all connect together and basically make a huge city. So it is just a floating city. But how do they power these things? Like I said, there's no gas. There's no way to have oil or drill for anything because you can't have buildings on the ground. The sun will just melt them down. You can't have solar panels. The heat is too intense. So they have these things called sun hearts. These little stones that you can put into to fuel engines. They're hover bikes all the way up to the huge floating ships. What's really interesting though is where those sun hearts come from, and it's pretty dark. They can't be recharged, so once the sun heart is done, throw it away and you have to go to the source to get new ones, and like I said, it's pretty dark. Now, the bad guys in this book, they're led by this guy called the Cinder King, and he can take a version of these sun hearts and jam them into the chests of people to where it just creates this huge cavity in their chest, and they just have this big red stone in the middle. And when he does that, he can control them, and basically they're all his minions, and he's like a super powered guy because he's got like a supercharged cinder, or they call it like a cinder heart, I think, because he's the Cinder King. So this book is all about this guy, fighting with himself. He needs to get out of here, but obviously over time he starts to have feelings for these people, and he's got that pull like, do I help them? Do I run? Do I help them? Do I run? And it's really good. There's a lot of action to this, not a lot of downtime. I read this in like 3 or 4 days, but I read half of it in one day and just kind of slowly finished it. So you could read this over a weekend. And it is pretty fast paced and it goes very well. Now, being a Cosmere book, maybe you have questions. If you're not familiar with the Cosmere, you're thinking, do I have to know anything about the Cosmere to enjoy this book? No, absolutely not. Now, this one does have a lot more references than, say, like Tress of the Emerald Sea. This one has a lot of references to the Stormlight Archive. They're not so long and deep. It's more like him mentioning names and places and items that, even for me, it's been like 4 years since I read the first 3 books of the Stormlight Archive. And hearing some of these names of places and items, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. I don't remember exactly what was going on with it, but that sounds familiar. A lot of these things get mentioned in passing. Maybe he'll say it and somebody will be like, what's that you're saying? And he's like, oh, no, it's nothing. So even if you have no knowledge at all about the Cosmere or the other books, you can still enjoy this book. Just kind of, just push those things out of your mind when he starts going off about the other planets, the other place, his former life. Just push that all out. You'll enjoy it just fine. I will have to do a review later maybe on all 4 books, because this book, if you've been following along, this is the 4th of the Secret Project books that I've read, and thankfully it was good. A couple of them were not so great, so I'll stick around. I'll have to do a video on ranking these and where this one fits in. But we are going to move on to spoilers. So if you have not read the book, please stop here, go read it, and come back for spoilers, because that's what we're talking about now. Ready? All right, let's go. Spoilers. I mean, there's not too much like a wow moments or like holy cow or what's going on here. No twist turns. It was pretty straightforward, except the only thing that got me riled up was when they found that underground spaceship or the science lab, and the people realized that, oh, what we wanted is not here. Well, I guess we'll just go back up. And he just kind of lets them go. They get on the elevator and he's like, he was so tired, and you're reading it just like, and they got back on the elevator and there they go. And you're just like, he's just gonna let them go? I was sure he would stop them or do something more with the scientists, but you know, it's just kind of like, there they go. And I'm like, and then when we start seeing on the viewing screens of like them getting attacked, or that one ship crashes and he's like, that was Zeal's ships for sure, he's dead. I'm like, is he just gonna let all these people die and watch it? I'm like, this book is taking a turn. But of course, obviously, what's her face gets taken around with the Cinder King, and yeah, everything else, it just went around normally. No big surprises. Like I said, it was a good book. All of the references with Stormlight and the Shattered Plains and Kaladin, man, it made me want to go back and read those books, those very big, long books. You know, talking about the Dawn Shard and the Shard Blade. When the Cinder King mentioned, he was like, I've read about you people, and what happens with these shard blades when you're defeated. I was like, oh yeah, that brings back so many memories about that stuff. And they even say the name, the Knights Radiant. I'm like, oh, I want to read that again, because I did enjoy those books so much. I'm not sure who he was. Obviously, he was a part of the bridge teams with Kaladin. His name was Sigzil or Sizgul. And I was trying to remember, so I just cannot remember that name. If he came up, he had to be early on if he knew about Bridge 4. So yeah, there's so much I know I'm not getting out of this just because I forgot about all of that I probably would enjoy so much more. Like, oh, that's that. Oh, that's that. So yeah, man, those are some long books though. I have to really sit down and read through those again. But yeah, this one was good, much better than Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, much better than the Frugal Wizard. It kind of had a similar tone with, in the Frugal Wizard, that guy's like, oh, I didn't do the right things back then. I was a coward, or I changed, and I just didn't do the right thing. And this guy is kind of the same stuff. It's like, oh, that's not who I used to be. I'm a different person. I don't do that anymore. So I kind of felt familiar with that. But yeah, I gotta say, I really enjoyed it. I'm so glad I enjoyed it, and that the secret projects didn't completely fall off. I saw number 5 just dropped, the Isles of, what was it, Emberac or something like that. So there is a 5th secret project, which after reading these and having only 2 out of 2 being okay, I might wait on that 5th one. But anywho, that's all I got to say about this. I really appreciate you guys watching. Please comment down below. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. And I will catch you next time.